So, I know the title card says Q2, but guys, we're just going to be covering pretty much anything I've missed in the year so far. So, that includes stuff from Q2 of 2019, also stuff I may have missed from Q1 in 2019, and we're even going to throw some stuff from July in there too, because the Pitchfork video completely fucked up my schedule. Fuck the rules. Chaos reigns. It's a FIMI, bitch! Heyo guys, and welcome to the second edition of FIMI, or fuck, I missed it, for 2019. In this video, we're gonna go over a bunch of albums that I didn't get the chance to cover timely. A lot of these are just my picks, but a good chunk of them are actually suggestions from the Rock Critic Discord server. It's a one-time $10 pledge to gain access to that, and we have a lot of fun over there. If you want to give it a whirl and potentially be able to request future albums for future FIMIs, be sure to head over to patreon.com/TeRockCritic and toss in a tenner if you like. But enough dilly-dallying, this video's already late enough as it is, so let's get started, yeah? Let's FIMI, bitch! You know, I liked this album, I promise you I did, but I'd be lying if I said I liked it more than Bringer of Pain from last year. This album is good, it's still good old Battle Beast, but it lacks kind of intensity and rawness that last album had. I haven't been coming back to this one nearly as often as I did with Bringer of Pain. Hell, if anything, something that surprised me, I've actually gone back more to Beast in Black, seriously, that name thing. I've honestly gone back to Beast in Black's album more often this year than I have this new one from Battle Beast. So, I don't know, take that for however you want to take it. It's like if Fat Mike swallowed an entire dump truck of Xanax and Ambien, then tried to write the script to a Lars von Trier film, and then tried to make a musical out of that same script. And it's all about hobo clowns. Fat Mike, please stop. Dude, the last NoFX album was so good, and you keep fucking shit up like this. Stop, my man. Please stop. This record is like if David Byrne grew up as a millennial and were influenced by a bunch of weird shit like Death Grips, JPEG Mafia, clipping, girl band. It's a hot fucking mess of a record. And I think I fucking love it. You know a noise rock album has got to be really damn good to get a recommendation out of me, but yeah, guys, this is it. This is that good shit. This is that truly, genuinely good shit. The hype is real. What else can I say? God help me. I just do not get the hype behind Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes. They're not without charm. They certainly can play well enough, I guess, but why this? Why is this the thing that I keep getting tons of requests for and people are losing their shit over? I'm sorry, I just don't see it. It's fine for what it is, but why? Help me understand why this is the thing. This album is an hour and 24 minutes long. Most of the songs on it eclipse the 8-minute mark. It's crazy complicated and bananas on an almost incomprehensible level. It includes everything from guitars and drums to violins and string arrangements and freaking banjos and saxophones and freaking shamisen, and this album is just one of the most mind-rattling things to come out this year, and it's all but guaranteed to be on my best of the year list. Guys, this is that good crazy shit. This is that really good crazy shit. See, I don't hate every album for being too long. Bam, there you go. Go nuts with this one, guys. It's good shit. Remember the first Remo Drive album and how absolutely swamped with requests and hype and everything else? This album here, crickets. I barely even realized this thing came out. Nobody was knocking at my door about this thing, and well, it's a very depressing, very mopey, very kinda sad and directionless and mushy feeling record. I'm sorry, but this thing has sophomore slump written all over it. Yeah, that's a shame. Very nice combo of like speed and traditional thrash metal on display here. Some of the guitar work on this record is absolutely a sight to behold. Very wicked instrumentation overall. I'm not the biggest fan of their vocalist per se. He's not terrible by any means, but there is a lot to this record that I really like, and I do understand a lot of the hype that it's been getting. It's not all of the hype necessarily, but it's still an outstandingly solid metal record. And, you know, if this is on your best of the year list, I feel that. Because this is a damn solid record. These guys, yeah, the hype is real. Okay, remember when I talked about Venom Prison earlier in the year? Remember those guys? Okay. Now, imagine if that band were more of a hardcore, almost punkish, kinda Norma Jean-ass, kinda slam fiesta. Imagine that band filtered through that sort of genre and interpretation. And you have what's, again, probably gonna be on my best of the year list. Guys, especially those of you into hardcore, do not sleep on Ithica. This band just wrecks, man. Absolutely essential indie rock from Mannequin Pussy on this album. Like, God, it's got the perfect blend of pop hookiness and catchiness with punk attitude and aggression, with the right blend of indie sort of experimentation and, curveballs and other stuff you wouldn't necessarily expect out of a record like this. It's almost as if, like the catchiness of something like Diet Sig blended with the sort of snot factor of a band like Dollskin, let's say. It really is the best of both worlds, people. This is definitely one worth checking out. Big time. Oh, hey, speaking of, I liked this album. It was a good one. I don't know, maybe this is just me, though. Did anyone else notice some iffy production issues with this? I mean, it felt like the music was fine, the instrumentation was great, a lot of the songwriting was up to Dollskin's usual standard, but, I don't know, the guitars felt really washed out, and the drums were super wispy on this record. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but again, Dollskin presented another really good album for us here, though it's a shame it doesn't sound better. I mean, we all know Dollskin can pull this kind of thing off. It's just, I think they need to find a good producer. I hate to say that, but they really need to find someone who can bring out the best in them. This record is snotty, aggressive, angry as hell, all-girl J-punk. Yeah, it may be a little on brand for me, but guys, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. My name is Crash Thompson, and I will forever be on my anime bullshit. A psychedelic soul record with just the right touches of Texas-style blues and R&B thrown in there for good measure. Like, this is definitely an album to pick up if you're fans of that particular kind of genre, especially the modern stuff like Alabama Shakes or what Gary Clark Jr. is doing. Yeah, another solid debut album here. If this project decides they want to stick around for another record, I would be all for it. This is definitely a pleasant surprise. Bloodstained Child have gotten back together with their old Mosaic era vocalist, Sadu. And, well, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things just doesn't belong. I kid. I'm just joking around, people. This record might be a bit of a curveball if you're like me, say, and you're used to all their stuff post-Epsilon, but, I mean, hey, Bloodstained Child can still throw down with the best of them. You know, this album is just silly as hell, and the production behind it is hot ass, like really amateurish style shit here. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't charmed by these guys. This band has a lot of talent and a lot of personality. I really liked what I heard on Second to None. If these guys can find a producer who can actually bring out the best in them, I could see them going places, you know? I honestly could. You know, but this album does have its issues, but I'll be damned if I didn't like this. I would love to see something like this get a little bigger. Wouldn't you? Look at these guys. Fucking... Uh-oh, y'all. This is that dirty metal. In space! I mean, it's a Scott Stapp record. What were we expecting? But, you know what? Let me read some lyrics for you here. I am a son without a father. He gave his name and walked away. I am a man, now a father, and I swear my son will never know that pain. Okay, Arms Wide Open was 20 goddamn years ago. We didn't need a sequel song. And B, it's a little weird hearing these words come out of you, Scott. Because, you know, you have a son that you walked out on? Yeah, remember Jagger? Remember how on Twitter he called you out a few years ago saying how you chose drugs over the family and, oh, hey, my dad abandoned us. Wow, that's fun. Thanks, Dad. I mean, granted, Scott Stapp has apparently cleaned himself up big time since those years, and hey, more power to him for it. But for him to write something like that with a straight face, I expected to be bored by a Scott Stapp album. I didn't expect to be, like, full-blown disgusted. Just ew. Just ew. I know some of y'all don't necessarily like it when I veer off into the electro-pop kind of spheres and stuff that I'm into, but I will say this, you really shouldn't sleep on Drab Majesty. This is some outstanding stuff. It's very retro, it feels ripped straight out of the 80s, but it's like a weird megalomaniacal clashing of bands like The Cure and Echo and the Bunnymen and Duran Duran, all kind of mixed up into a blender. It's electropop that has a lot of pep and a lot of actual, like, bounce to it. Like, it's soothing and serene, but man, does it have some jumpiness to it. It's just, like, I know some of y'all don't like the electropop stuff I throw out there, but I'm telling you, you probably shouldn't sleep on this. Just throwing that out there for you. Forgive me for using the same bit twice in the same video, but people, albums like this are what Little Sweetie was invented for. Fuck these Davy and Goliath corporate cum-chugging bitch-ass motherfuck. I know I've gone on the record with some unpopular opinions about Jack White's music in the past, but I will admit the Racounteurs is a project that I actually do enjoy. It's, you know, good old classic style, sort of 70s-ish kind of rock with a bit of a country vibe just sort of peppered in there. It's not the most exciting thing, and this album certainly isn't the most unpredictable thing. This is pretty much everything I was expecting a new Racounteurs record to sound like, even after all these years, but I mean, it's fine. It's okay. I generally dug it. I liked it better than that last Jack White solo album. Keep booing me, it only makes my opinions worse. What? Don't look at me like that. I mean, have you listened to this thing? You know damn well songs like Family and Closure and Bring You Down, they kind of fall within my jurisdiction, and I mean, it's not bad. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm happy for the kid. The kid seems nice. Not too shabby. Two Door Cinema Club have always been good at delivering that kind of sunshiny, super poppy kind of rock vibe. You know, it's good for what it is. I'll admit it was a little staid. I mean, this is exactly what I picture every Two Door Cinema Club album sounding like. It sounds a lot like every other Two Door Cinema Club record I've tried. But again, not bad for what it is. I enjoyed it. If not, you know, like an Album of the Year candidate, hey, for those of you that are looking for a poppy jam, it's worth picking up for sure. Chaotic as hell metalcore math rock with an electric violinist in tow. So this band is basically what happens when Yellowcard gets possessed by the devil and tries to do an I Wrestled a Bear Once impression. I'm down. Oh, hey, speaking of I Wrestled a Bear Once, this is where their vocalist and lead guitarist ended up after the unfortunate circumstances behind their fourth album. Atmospheric, kinda genty, just the right blend of soothing and vicious to be appealing, and Courtney LaPlante's vocal style has always been top-notch. She's an excellent clean singer and a screamer, and you know, overall I can recommend this. This was a nice little EP. Even if this thing's existence does pretty much confirm that I Wrestled a Bear Once, well, is probably dead. That's a shame. You know, I just gotta say it. While I didn't like this album as much as Full Circle Nightmare, the songwriting isn't as rough and tumble as it was on FCN, and there's some production stuff here that's, I mean, I'm with Mark from Spectrum Pulse on this. I kind of didn't enjoy it in some sonic instances, but, I mean, even despite its setbacks, Kyle Craft has still got it, guys. He can still deliver very, very well. Like, god damn. Like, if this is the worst album Kyle Craft can put out, you know, we don't have to worry about shit. Ooh, the music on this record. It's like a cross between a Rob Zombie film soundtrack and the Doom 2016 soundtrack. It's industrial in that very 90s-esque kind of industrial. You know, it's very Rammstein, very 90s Ministry, very even 90s Nine Inch Nails in places. And you know, I did enjoy it for what it was. Certainly not bad. I don't know if I'd call it an album of the year candidate for me, at least. I don't know. Again, industrial is kind of one of those genres I have difficulty with at times, but you know, if you're into this scene, if you're into this kind of music, this is worth checking out. Definitely give it a shot. Dark. Like, extremely dark. Maybe one of the darkest records I've ever had to review for this show. Like, this is darker than almost any black metal album I've had to review. That's how dark this album is. Make no mistake, people. This is an album that pulls precisely 0 punches. It's a quite literal trip through a quite literal hell. This album sort of centers around what it's like to be the victim in an abusive relationship. And, again, it's real and scary and vindictive and just, like, it was a rough listen, but I would say for mostly the right reasons. Make no mistake, I am going to give this album a positive score because the music is very good at the end of the day. I mean, she has an absolutely breathtaking sense of melody, and for what she's trying to do, she does it unbelievably effectively. Though, I'm gonna throw a caveat onto that. If you have experienced that kind of, like, physical and emotional abuse in your life, if you have had to deal with abuse, or if you, if you have issues with topics of abuse, guys, just walk into this one with caution. I mean, I just want to lay that out there for those of you that might be curious enough. This is a good record, but it's not a pleasant one. Like, whew, God. Like, I really mean goddamn when I say god damn. You know, I'm actually a fan of the comic strip this album is loosely based upon. It's like if Calvin and Hobbes went full black metal satanic. It's charming and cute, and, you know, it has its moments. And this album is a decent slice of black metal goodness. I'll give it that. But I guess if I have a complaint, it's that if you didn't straight up tell me that this was from the same guys who did the comic strip, I honestly wouldn't have been able to tell. I mean, I still like it. It's still really good, but again, I don't see much of the Belzebubs in Belzebubs' record here. I guess if we just can't get another Death Clock album, I'll take what I can get here. Stoner rock that has some interesting experimental kind of vibes to it. It's almost like Queens of the Stone Age with like a bit more of a punkier sort of bent. I did like it, even though I have to admit the record does feel a little confused as to what it's trying to be. You know, a loose recommendation. I like what I hear, but again, I don't think this will be for everybody. Cheese metal. That's what we have here. This is cheese metal. Do you know how cheesy this metal is? It closes with a cover of the Spaceballs theme song. I'm not kidding. That's a thing that happens. And you know, I got nothing against cheesy metal. I gave Dream Troll a recommendation, for God's sake. I'm okay with cheesy metal. But if you're lactose intolerant, this album will straight up kill you. Wait. Copeland are still around? That was my first thought when I saw this get requested on the Discord server. This is a request. But apparently, to my surprise, Copeland technically never left us. They've spent the years evolving and transitioning into something that's kinda hard to describe. They're electronic, atmospheric, and very, very experimental these days. Think if, like, May got together with Radiohead in that era post-Amnesiac, pre-King of Limbs. That little weird area there. And, you know, I gotta admit, I like what I heard here. I got vibes of May's last album from last year off of this record, which is a very, very good thing. Honestly, I was shocked to see that Copeland not only were still kicking around, but that they grew into something this intriguing. Definitely one of the bigger surprises of 2019 for me this year. I mean, hey, this is a really big step up from, "Hey Amanda, where'd you find these crazy boys this time? With your wingspan." Nope. No. Guys, you know how I usually do with noise rock that's this chaotic and this crazy. This is not black midi, this is just chaos. And you know what? Those of you that enjoy this style of noise rock, more power to you. I'm sure this is a jam, but for me, no, get this thing away from me before my ears bleed. No. Just no, y'all. No. So, Travis Barker and Monkey from Korn got together with a random horrorcore group and made an EP. Something like this does feel a tad bit out of my jurisdiction, admittedly, but I mean, who was asking for this? Was anyone really asking for this? Whew. Grueling and absolutely devastatingly bleak post-hardcore from the guys in Defeater. This band has an absolutely wicked concept behind their albums. See, every single record they release is actually part of a story, though the thing is, the story is all the same individual story across each record, only told through different perspectives. It's weirdly story-driven, and it has a heavy narrative focus, but unlike something like, say, Coheed Cambria, you can actually make sense of what's going on in the story, and even if you can't, the individual tracks hold up well enough on their own to justify giving this a spin, no matter where you may be in the story. So, yeah, Defeater. Another damn good release. If you dug the last La Dispute record that me and Spectrum Pulse tackled over on his channel, yeah, definitely give this one a shot. This one needs to be on your listening list for sure. We're sticking into the post-hardcore territory here with this, so again, fans of Defeater and Law Dispute and whatnot, you will definitely get a kick out of this. Again, the instrumentation on this record is something to behold. These guys really can play and perform very well. God, I wish the album sounded better, though. Again, this is another one of those albums where the production is just really kneecaps it, and it doesn't have to be like that. Like, the thing is, it's really bad and extremely noticeable, too. Like, the drums are so muted on this record. It's especially like the snare and the kick drum. It's just, everything sounds fuzzy behind the kit and the percussion. And when the guitars switch over to more of an echoey and clean kind of thing, again, the band can do that exceptionally well, but it doesn't come off terribly well on the record because everything is just so mushy and just nothing fits together. There's not a good presence behind the album, which again sucks because if this album had proper mixing, if the production weren't dog shit, this would get a much higher rating out of me, but as it stands, again, it's always a shame when good musicians get hampered by terrible production. Nope, still bored. Yeah, go ahead, boo me all you want. I'm done with this band. Y'all, I'm done. I'm bored silly. Go ahead and boo me. It doesn't make this album any less boring. I'm bored! I'm so hopelessly bored! You know, I didn't know an all-girl Beartooth was something I needed in my life, but I dug this, sure. It's not necessarily an Album of the Year candidate, but for what it is, certainly pretty decent. I like it. These gals certainly have potential. Really sugary power pop on display here from Charly Bliss. It's really in that vein of sort of 90s, 2000s-ish power pop, too. It's very Fountains of Wayne, very That Dog-y. Dare I say, it's even got just the slightest touches of pre-Green Album Weezer. Like, this is some power poppy stuff. And their vocalist is a complete chipmunk. I had to double check my setup just to make sure, like, it wasn't pitch shifting or anything. Wow. Their vocalist has a very high voice. But if none of that stuff bothers you, yeah, a very solid outing from these guys. I like me some good power pop every once in a while, so yeah, I'm down with this. More stuff for you hardcore fans out there. If you're into stuff like Code Orange, Vane, Jesus Piece, you know, that really grisly, really gravelly ass hardcore, this is gonna be right up your alley. And they have an excellent female vocalist. Seriously, Justine Jones has a hell of a shout to her. This was pretty decent stuff, I gotta admit. Those of you who are oh, I give up. Those of you who can't wait to hear the next Code Orange album, this is a good thing to help tide you over until they drop something big. Definitely good stuff, and definitely worth keeping your eye on. A slice of emo-flavored pop-punk with a very depressive streak in the lyrics. Songs about loneliness, self-loathing, addiction, alcoholism. Just a good listen. The instrumentation is great, a lot of good vocal harmonies, a lot of good stuff musically on this record, though, yeah, I will admit this is pretty depressing. Even for, like, an emo record, this, ooh, damn. I'm just saying, maybe keep Charly Bliss's album handy if you listen to this one and you need to pick me up afterwards. 10-Foot Pole are a band from the California skate punk scene. That is pretty legit. They've been around since the 80s, if you want to count their time as Scared Straight. Like, they've had a long and illustrious career, and they have a hell of a pedigree behind them. Why haven't I heard a ton of their stuff? Why do I not listen to these guys so often? Why do they not stick out in my head in any real fashion? Oh, that's right. They're, not very good. I mean, it's not terrible. It's not terrible for what it is, but especially after listening to this record, I can tell why they never became the next Bad Religion or Offspring or anything like that. This project here is actually a supergroup of sorts, fronted by former Pixies and Muffs bassist Kim Shattuck. And it's a big old throwback to like late 60s, super early 70s kind of pop rock, you know? It has elements of like surf rock and, you know, very classic sort of... I mean, the cover alone should spoil it for you that this is the Archies as fuck. And yeah, it is pretty much exactly that. Which, you know, it's a little predictable and a little sort of by the numbers for what it is. But 100% of the proceeds towards this record are going towards ALS research. So if that sounds like something that'd be up your alley, hey, the money's going to a good cause, so why not? Why not? And that's our FIMI for Q2 of 2019. Guys, thanks again so much for tuning in, and a special thanks to our patrons over on the Discord server. Thank you very much for your suggestions. Remember, that's only a $10 one-time pledge to get in on that. If you pledge, you can potentially drop suggestions for the next one we do around Q3, which will probably drop October sometime, probably? I'm gonna shoot for October. We'll see what my schedule looks like. And also remember that the albums you see in a FIMI do not necessarily disqualify them from future quickie requests. So if, say, you wanted to request an album but you saw it pop up here on a FIMI, that's okay. You can still request it for quickies when those open up again sometime. I don't know when. I gotta clean up a few other things on my plate first, guys. Sit tight with me, okay? But again, guys, thank you so much. Again, be on the lookout for the next FIMI that we'll do for Q3, and look out for more stuff coming down the pipeline. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will catch you guys in the next video.
Super special thanks to Kyle A.